Hello and welcome to whatever this is supposed to be. I'm a pretty big tomboy and I always have been. I have like only male cousins and I was raised a lot around them, so. But as an adult, I've been trying to do more feminine stuff a little bit more despite not having the best social skills.
Me? Well... Wait, I won't do anything.
Really?
I really love goth stuff and curvy stuff, but even with the makeup aspects around it, I've never really tried it because I always thought I'll look terrible in that, and maybe I will. I've only ever done it like in high school or something when one of my friends did it for me, and even then I didn't really like the way that it felt on my face, so I just took it off, so I've never actually done this before. I'm gonna study abroad this year, so I want to look a bit more presentable. I say that while my shirt's not ironed properly, but we'll ignore that. Think of it as character development, a really boring character development. This is my little Pinterest board of inspiration that I'll put on the screen. This is basically stuff that I want to do. I've watched some videos for my face shape. I have a really round face, a moon face if you will. I have some generic drugstore stuff that I found, and then stuff that people that I know weren't using and allowed me to take because they were going to throw it out anyway. So it's like dregs of things and stuff like that, but I did try it on my arm to make sure that there was no irritation, so we're good to go. I also expressed interest once to do this, and I got given some eyeliner, but I never used it, so I feel bad about it, but this is a good thing I have, I think. I don't know what products are good or not. I don't know anything about this.
That's every woman's nightmare.
I'm also watching some random videos about like deep internet lore because I just feel like it's making me feel less on edge about this because I'm just watching other stuff.
Twitted my fucking tipples! What the fuck?
It's probably gonna make me laugh, which is not very good if I need a steady hand for something. I could turn that off. I'm not going to, but I could. So I'm gonna start with, I have this like moisturizer stuff. I use it whenever it's on sale in like goth stores. It's actually pretty cheap. If it's on sale, when it's not on sale, it's definitely not, so I don't buy it then, but it is vegan. I tend to like vegan stuff just because it feels good on my skin, but I'm not actually a vegan because I can't give up bacon. That's why I'm so fat. I was told a lot of stuff like just from tutorials and stuff about how the hell all this makeup shit works and what order you're supposed to do things in, but everyone just says a different thing, and then it's like, oh, what about your skin type? Just do what you feel is right. And it's like, I don't know what I think is right. I don't think anything is right. The only thing I know is right is that JFK was assassinated by the government. So foundation, I'm also going to do like a mix and match kind of thing. My family's from South Africa, and my mom said that it was totally fine when she was there to try and get different foundation shades, but when she came to Australia in 2009, she said that apparently it was really hard to try and find stuff that was her shade, so she kept mixing and matching things. Nowadays it's fine, but back then I'm glad that I didn't. Well, back then I was 10. So I wouldn't have worn anything anyway, but I'm glad that I didn't try because it looks like it was a hassle. I know that the lighting and stuff isn't the best for this, but it's just what I can do because the rest of the house is in a disarray from trying to pack, and the sun isn't really cooperating with me, but when does it really? So this, I have like a generic beauty blender, is that what it's called? And apparently you're supposed to just use that because it absorbs some of the product, so I'm just gonna try and not die from it. I watched this really helpful series where this woman said that you can apply it on the back of your hand as well to knock off some of the stuff, and you should start it with a brush, not a brush, a blender. The brush comes afterwards. The brush is easier to apply, but the blender is easier for beginners because it absorbs some of the product, and I feel really stupid squashing a piece of silicone in my face repeatedly. The thing that I'm scared of is how the women will judge me, because women are scary, and I know women are scary because I am one.
Name 5 women that feel safe being in a room alone with you.
I don't know 5 women.
So I don't know how much I'm supposed to put on, so I'm just gonna keep doing it until I feel like I've made a grave mistake. To be fair, I already kind of feel like that. Do you see? I think it just feels really weird to put something on my face. Are you seeing this shit?
Destroy the child.
Intergalactic invasion into this space.
Can you even see a difference? Okay, on one hand, I kind of understand what foundation is. I've looked up tutorials and stuff, but on the other hand, it's like, I know there's different types of coverage. and none of them make sense to me. Like, this is a weird thing, but while I'm doing this, I'm watching this video about these people who are sexually attracted to ice cubes, and there's this forum for them. And I remember seeing someone else, I think it was like Vine Source Joel or something, years ago talking about this stuff, right?
I'm a freak ice
chewer, and I recently discovered milk. Firstly, if you put milk...
Why is it in quotation marks?
You know what's weird to me? Firstly, the whole thing is weird, but I think that it's kind of funny because when I was a kid, I really liked eating ice cubes, and it wasn't in that kind of way, but I just really liked eating them. And I never really knew why. So then I went to the doctor once, wanted to do like some other checkup, and they had to do a blood test, and then they found out that I am severely anemic. And I always have been, and it was undiagnosed. So like, I still have it now, but I just don't really care about ice cubes that much. Like, it's like a normal thing. But I wonder how many of these people have mental problems, but then on top of that, they have some sort of mineral deficiency that their body can't communicate to them properly. So they think that it becomes like a weird attraction. Have you heard of the tile guy from that one 4chan post? Do you know what a weird thing to talk about while trying to do? Okay, I have foundation on. It kind of sapped the color out of my face, so I look like a basement dweller who doesn't shower, so a communist. So this next thing is this concealer nonsense. I don't understand what concealer is. I know it's in the name, before you used to call me stupid. The thing that I saw was that it has to match your skin tone exactly, otherwise it ends up drawing attention to your skin. So if it's a lighter concealer, then it draws attention to your skin, so you should put it on other areas, but if it's your skin tone, then you should use it to conceal. So it's a concealer, but it's also not a concealer. I don't care. I have like what is this, elf? I think I'm supposed to put this, not under my eyes, but around the under eye area. And then I guess I could put it like here a bit, and then I see everyone do it up here, so I'm gonna do that. And then we'll just deal with it. We'll just cope with it. It's all gonna turn to shit anyway. We're all gonna die. It doesn't matter.
Can you elaborate?
And then you're supposed to do the brush and then work it outwards, I think? Can you even tell what's happening? Because I'm a shitty camera? I'm not gonna get another one, not for this. I don't even know if that's doing anything. What are you women watching this? Can you explain how this shit works to me? I think that I'm pretty good at English. It's my first language, and I think I'm pretty fluent at it. But when I watch these tutorials, it just feels like guzopazop language, and I have no idea what these people are talking about. Can't you just talk about people who are sexually attracted to ice cubes like the rest of us talk about? That's pretty normal, isn't it? Okay, we're just gonna leave it at that. Whatever happened, happened, and we're gonna ignore it and continue on with our day. I have these like really cheap brushes that I got, so I'm just gonna use that, and then I have the dregs of some setting powder that I'm going to use to do all of this nonsense. I heard from the good tutorial woman that you're supposed to knock this stuff on the back of your hand to get an even coating, and then you put it on, and you're supposed to use like a powder thingy, like those powder puff thingies, but I don't have one of those, so we're just gonna deal with it. You know what was really confusing to me? The fact that a lot of people hide that skin has texture. Like, obviously I know that skin has texture, but so many of these tutorials, they acted like they had flawless skin and their texture completely disappeared as soon as they put the foundation on. And then I find out that it's not actually that good. It still looks like your skin has texture, which obviously I'm fine with because that's just reality. But so many people, even when they do these tutorials, they do it for beginners. I feel like their ego, it tells them that you're supposed to make it look like your skin doesn't have texture because you just like, I'm so good at makeup that my texture vanishes kind of thing. So then I'm watching this going, okay, but what if mine doesn't because my skin is very textured, so what if that goes wrong? And then it's just like, whatever, you know?
Really?
So whatever that's supposed to do, it has been done. Now, the other part, there's like a bronzer thingy, and I don't really know how these work. I don't understand how what's it called? I forgot what it's called. How am I supposed to do this when I keep forgetting the names of things? Contour. There's that thing. While this is on, it makes me look like Voldemort. You can't really see it that much, but this is the closest to pale that I will ever be in my life, surprisingly. I look like Voldemort if he got put in the microwave for a bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do the contoury thing. What I was told from the internet, which I trust because no one would lie on the internet, is that because my face is round, I'm supposed to concentrate on these areas and my cheekbones are high, I guess that matters, but also put it lightly around my forehead or something. I'm nervous because people use thin brushes sometimes when they do this, but I am paranoid that there's just going to be a line around my face, so I'm going to use this one again. I'm going to knock off all the stuff that's on here and just cope with it. Speaking of, look, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter, okay? But that premise is one of the worst things, most nonsensical things that I've ever heard. Like, if you're going to defeat a baby, then just like drop kick it in the lawn. Why didn't Voldemort say, listen, I know that I might, if I don't defeat this baby, then you guys need to do something about it. Like, just tell the Death Eaters that there's a plan B, take the baby outside, drop kick it, send it to Planned Parenthood. All of your problems will be solved because you don't need to care about that. Now, me personally, I haven't played too much Hogwarts Legacy because for me, it's like, I don't like Fantastic Beasts either because it was terribly written, but at the same time, it's like, if Hagrid is not in it, then I don't really care and I don't want to look at it because I have a big attachment to the main series. I decided to look into it because of those freaky people on Twitter who started harassing Pikami and they chased her off the internet. And then I ended up kind of liking it. Like, it's never something that's going to be like a big deal to me, but I think it's pretty cool because I think the castle looks pretty cool. That's the reason why I really like the PS2 ones, like especially 5 and 6. Those ones are really good because you could explore the whole castle and stuff. We're not going to talk about the Deathly Hallows ones, we're just not going to talk about them at all. Okay, other than around my face, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with this because they do all this stuff with their noses and things to try and make them look a certain way. I don't really think I want to change the way that my nose looks because I don't really care that much. So maybe in the future when I understand what this is, I'll be able to do that, but for now I don't really care. I think some people do this to make their noses look smaller or something. Question, does anyone ever use contour to make their nose look bigger? Because all I see are these people making their nose look smaller. Does anyone out there actually use it to make their nose look bigger? How do you do that? Not that I would, but I think it's funny. So apparently there's like highlighters and stuff. I don't have that, so I'm just going to use some of this cheap eyeshadow that I have, and we're going to make it work. I think I have a slightly smaller brush that I can use for that. These are all the brushes that I'm working with, so anything that I don't have for that, I'm just going to use my fingers and pray. I'm glad that I was told to knock it off the back of my hand, because I feel like I just genuinely would have had a bad time if all of this clumpy stuff got over my face. I wouldn't have figured that out myself, I think. Oh yeah, what I'm doing, because I have really hooded eyes, apparently if you put some around your eyes a bit, it's supposed to make you look not as ugly, so I'm gonna go with that. And people do this, I don't know why they do it, but I'm gonna do it too. Not that you can see any of the difference, but I see it. Okay, so the next thing is, there was this type of blush that I actually really liked called the Sunburn, where you do it across there, and I don't know if this is good for the way that my face is. I don't really care that much, so I'm just gonna do it anyway. And I'm gonna pick I have the only eyeshadow thing that I have is like it's like reds and pinks, and then it's like a white one, so I'm just gonna use one of them and hope that it works. I bet you that there's people screaming at me that I've forgotten something, but what would I know? I wouldn't know that. There's so much just shit on the back of my head. Okay, so I'm gonna start very small so that I don't have a heart attack at the amount of product that's on my face, because I wouldn't know how to deal with that. I assume that that's just something that you learn. Now I'm watching Mola's podcast on Boogie2988, and I'm like, you know what, I might look a little jaundiced while I'm doing this, but I look way better than he does, and my life has an upward trajectory unlike him, so I'm pretty confident about how this is going to turn out. I might use a slightly darker color because I can't really see this too much. Oh, that's way too strong. I don't really get the peely sunburn. Like, obviously everyone gets sunburn, but I never got the one that makes your skin hurt. It doesn't hurt for me. My skin will feel like a little bit tight and then I'll move on. Like, it's not visible, if you get what I mean. A lot of makeup stuff, I know there's two different types. There's one that's like really subtle. It's like you look like you're wearing makeup, but you're not actually wearing makeup, you know what I mean? And then there's the one that's super dramatic, and because I'm more of a goth person myself, I like the dramatic one, so I'm gonna do that. But I also think the logic behind it for me is that to be able to make it subtle, you need to know how to use it, and I don't really know how to use it yet, so I'm gonna do the other one so that if I do more, I'll be able to do the stuff that requires more skill. Maybe I could make this a series if it doesn't end up being a train wreck, or at least it's an entertaining train wreck. Maybe I could learn how to make it look less clown-like. So now I'm going to use the eyeshadow as eyeshadow.
Oh my god! Wow!
Now, I have extremely hooded eyes, so when I open my eyes, my eyelids like go into witness protection. You just can't see them. So there's no point in me trying to do stuff on my eyelids because you're never going to see them. All the stuff that I found, I'm going to try and convert it so that it's on here, or like underneath, so that I can actually do stuff, because otherwise it just wouldn't really do anything. And I know people put stuff up here, but I feel like for me, I would look terrible, and I don't have the skill to make that suit my face, so I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna ignore it. Apparently you're supposed to start with like a neutralish tone, or like a lighter tone, so that you can blend, and then when you blend out it doesn't look as clownish, and then after that you can go in with the darker one. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it with reds and pinks, so I'm going for like Kirby eating a Maxim tomato kind of look. That's what we're doing. The thing with me is that even if it ends up not looking super bad, because of my self-esteem, I'm gonna see it as like, you know that Simpsons episode where Homer makes the makeup gun and then he fires it at the pig? That's what I'm gonna end up seeing anyway. That's why I'm doing it like this, so that I can get proper feedback from the internet that is very kind and normal. I guess that's why people have those slimmer brushes, so that you can do this stuff and it's not as like, it doesn't expand as much. But since I don't have that, I'm just going to hold the brush between my fingers like this. I do that when I paint sometimes, and it works because I can't remember where I put my flat brush. So I'm just going to do that and then pray. As with all things, Mortis, December 21st, 1987. What I'm about to do has not been approved by the Vatican. These are my worst ideas, not my best either. You know what, I'm just going to use my fingers. Don't tell anyone. You know what's really weird to me? How many YouTubers that are like lolcows online, right, that were purely based off of people who said that they weren't going to lose weight, and then they just didn't lose weight. Because you've got Amber and Reed, you've got Wings of Redemption, you've got Boogie 2488. It's like all you have to do is put the cheese down for like 2 seconds, and you didn't want to do that, and then you act like it's everyone else's fault, and it's like, what am I supposed to do about that? I can't do anything about that. Okay, I don't know how else to make the eyeshadow, because I don't really know how under eye eyeshadow works. I don't know how people apply that stuff, and I don't know what good eyeshadow there is out there that works for people, so I'm just gonna leave it at that and call it a day. And then I saw this thing that people would do where they would use this eye pencil thingy, and you can smudge that. So they would put it around the eye and then they would smudge it, and then it just magically looks looks nice. So I'm gonna do that because it looks easy. I actually saw this, I think someone was doing like a Wednesday looking thing. I don't like Wednesday, I don't like it at all. I like the character, but I don't like the Netflix adaptation. I do like the actress, so I think that's a good bet. Even though I don't think we have the same face shape, I don't really understand how that stuff works. But if you're doing this at home, do it gently. We don't want to go blind. Although I don't know if you're following anything that I'm doing at home, I think that you are blind. But hey, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing it, because if you look silly, and you don't care that you look silly, then you can do a lot of things in life. That doesn't look so bad. I mean, it doesn't look great, but my assumptions are on like 0, and we're on like 0.5. As long as I make the other eye look somewhat even, now that's going to be the challenge. I can't really do that in most things that I draw, so my fingers are going to look like I killed a raccoon after this. I think the problem is like a lot of stuff, I guess products are different, but I don't really know how to use them. I think the biggest problem is just the lighting makes it look like it's uneven, but in my mirror it doesn't, so we're gonna roll with that. Okay, so the eyeliner and the lips are the two biggest fears that I have, because I am really bad at drawing lips, and I think that eyeliner looks really scary and difficult, especially because there's entire tutorials that people have had just for that, so we're gonna see how that goes. I think I'm gonna start with the lips, because I don't really have anything for them. I just have lip gloss that I made, so I'm just going to use that. And then what I have heard is that sometimes people just put eyeshadow on their lips instead, so I'm just going to do that. The thing is though, people have all of these pencils and everything just for their lips, and I have no idea how they keep track of all that stuff. Do you just use one for both lips and eyes, or is it sacrilege to do that? How would I know? I'm going to use the same color that I use for the carnage that I did on my own rest of my face, because maybe it won't look as obvious if I do that. See, part of me is like, well, I'm just the way I am, it's whatever. And then the other part of me is like, maybe if I started doing this stuff in high school, it would have been easier. I have no idea how I'm supposed to be presentable. You know what's really funny about Wings of Redemption is that he was always known as that weird guy that like Mr. Medica did a video on, and he was like insulting other people's kids and doing all this other nonsense. And then Boogie 2988 was so bad that he made Boogie look better. Can you believe that? Okay, the dreaded part is here. I'm gonna have to do the eyeliner thing, because it's like I'm watching it and they're like, it's an easy thing, you're supposed to do it, it's easy, it's not gonna bother you, it's easy. And then they'll give you the most complicated tutorial I've ever seen in my life, and they're like, no, it's easy though. And it's like, you said it was easy, it's not. So I don't really know how this has a stamp, never mind. Oh, but it feels scary though. I need to lean a specific way to. You can't really see it that much, it doesn't matter, does it? Another thing that I forgot to use the white thing on like the inner corner of my eyes, because apparently you're supposed to do that. So I guess it makes you look salvageable if you do that. And if it's one thing that I go for in life, it's salvageable.
Really?
And again, I don't have a brush for that, so I'm just gonna put it with my finger. I don't even know if you can tell that this is doing anything. There's a lot of people with anxiety out there. And if you see me doing this and not giving a shit that I look bad on camera, then maybe it's not going to make you feel as anxious when you're putting stuff on and you're doing it out in the world, right? Because that's the whole thing that gets people. It's like, I don't know what other people are thinking of me. Just think, you're not like me. You're not looking really stupid right now. So if I can do that and I'm okay with that, then you will be as well. And you can use this as a point of reference to feel better about yourself. Because I think that's pretty wholesome. I think that made a little bit of a difference.
Homer, you've got it set on whore.
Actually, you know what the actual scary thing is? The lash thing. The lash thing is gonna scare me. I had to watch a couple tutorials on how to do lashes, and the scary part that I had no idea that you had to cut them to fit your eyes. So I went and I did that in the mirror beforehand, because that's just complicated to me. I do have some glue for it. What I'm going to do is apply the glue on the eyes, because apparently not in my eyes, but on the eye thing, because apparently if you do that it's a little easier. So I'm just going to give that a go. I just realized that I don't have that mascara thing. I just didn't bother to get it. So well, I keep putting glue on my eyelashes instead. Who the hell said that this was easier? Whoever said that this is easier, I'm going to send you a strongly worded letter directly to your kidneys. And so now I'm supposed to let the glue do its thing for about 40 seconds just to make sure that it's tacky, and then put the eyelashes over it. It's gonna look like shit, it's gonna look really gloopy because I don't know how to apply that stuff. But like I said, we're here to experiment. We're not here to look glamorous. We're here to look human, mildly human. Because otherwise, I feel like I'm just gonna look a little homeless when I'm studying abroad, and I'm trying to put my best foot forward, so we're just gonna have to see what happens. You know, I watched Arcane, and Season 1 was really good. Season 2 was, like, really shit. I don't know anything about League of Legends, clearly, because I'm not built like a Reddit mod, so... But I feel like the plot was so easy to follow along, and then it just suddenly became not so good to follow along, and all of the characters look kind of like shitheads. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Homer, you set the gun to whore. Do you get used to the feeling of it? I can feel the weight of it on my eyelash line, right? And it feels really weird. I don't know how I feel about this. It's like why I can't put nails on, like the fake nails, because the feeling of it just makes me feel like there's something wrong, you know? Like there's something that should not be. Okay, the other one's not sticking on properly, so I think I'm gonna have to apply the glue this way. Applying the glue on the thing is much easier. Why was I convinced? Who convinced me that applying it up to my eyes was a good thing to do? It's so stupid. But now I have to wait again for this. Because do you ever get used to the feeling of this thing on your eyes? Because, look, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of like the dramatic look. Even if it looks like shit on me, it looks good on other people. But the whole thing about this is the feeling of it on my eyes. Because I feel like there's texture on my eyes, or there's a weight on my eyes, and I can't get it out. So that's the thing with the nails. Like I would feel that there would be weight on my nails. And I also don't do fake nails because I do clay and stuff like that, and I feel like it would get in the way, so there's no point. It's like a practical thing for me. But do you ever get used to this feeling? Women, I need answers. How do you get this thing straight? I know you're supposed to use tweezers. I don't know where my tweezers are, and I usually just use them for arts and crafts, so I ruin them. Okay, let's do... Let me just brush my hair out. I don't know how I feel about this. Because on one hand, like, listen, it's fun. It's fun. I think it's fun. But on the other hand, I look like the pig from that Simpsons episode. And on the other hand, this takes way too long to do. I like to get dressed like in 5 minutes and then get out the door. How am I supposed to spend like, what, half an hour, 45 minutes doing all of this stuff to leave and look like...
That's every woman's nightmare.
I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe it looks somewhat salvageable, maybe. Do I look that different than I do without makeup? I don't know how I feel. Either way, like I said, it's fun, so maybe just for the sake of it being fun, I might continue doing it anyway. You could also tell me other stuff to try that might make it look a bit more better, like how I'm supposed to do it naturally or something like that. Maybe that would be interesting. But at the end of the day, I hope that it gave someone else somebody else the ability to do it without feeling silly. Because I feel silly, but it's still fun, right? So, you know, it's whatever. I also wanted to like do those, you know, cute aesthetic vlogs when I do study abroad. So I think that part of that would be incorporating this and practicing it when I do it. But at the end of the day, I still think that if I do end up wearing stuff like this and I end up investing money into getting some like nicer drugstore ones, no way in hell I'm using the expensive ones. But I will still do like 50% not makeup and 50% makeup, because I have that kind of thing, you know, when you just go through phases every day where you're like, no, I want to kind of just dress in boys' clothes, I want to dress and make myself look a bit better or something like that. It just depends on the day. But ultimately, I don't know how to end videos.
You've got it set on whore.
Oops.